Growing up, a lot of us were told, or at least I was, that success is hard, and success is a result of hard work. If you do the work, you'll get the result. And if you didn't get it, you just didn't work hard enough. That's what we grew up with. We grew up believing that the only deserving path to success had to come from endless struggle, failures, and endless hours of hard work. I want to take the next few minutes to try and look at success from a different lens, from a different perspective. Consider if we were told growing up that success is as easy as you want to make it, and that you can get anything you want in life just by asking for it. Simply ask for it. Sounds simple. So let's discover why we should ask for more and why we don't. Hear me out before you go. I'm a student, but I'm also a social entrepreneur today, an international speaker, and a career strategist, all of which was not true in 2020. And I'm pretty average, I'm not gifted, I'll tell you that right now. So the only reason I'm here on this platform today is because I made conscious choices to go out of my comfort zone and ask for things that I really, really wanted. Just by leveraging strategic asks, I was able to launch a startup in the middle of a pandemic, lead a team from 8 different countries in 4 continents, speak to youth from 21 countries, over 20,000 people I was able to impact. And I also got published on Forbes, which was beyond my wildest dreams. And it's not just true for me. Studies prove that the art of making strategic asks have brought massive benefit to people across different industries, different scenarios, across different times. Did you know that professionals who negotiate their salary often, regularly, and strategically are twice as much likely to earn 1 to 1.5 million more than their same counterparts? The same is revealed with students. Students that simply ask for feedback, ask for a second chance or a higher grade with a professor are often seen as engaged and active in class. And they actually end up doing much better than their peers around them. So if it's really that simple, why aren't more people doing it? Heck, why isn't everyone doing it? Yep, I have the same question. But you see, as social creatures, we care about how people perceive us. And so the fear of rejection and the fear of failure is the first barrier to when we really want to ask for something that is in our goals or something that we want. In a book, What I Learned from 100 Days of Rejection by Gia, who's an amazing author, he discovers this fear of rejection and the impact that it has on us from different perspectives, but also using his personal story. Amazing author, amazing talk. So he discovers this fear, but let's uncover it a little bit more. When you ask for something that you want, there's only really 2 outcomes. One is you end up getting what you asked for, which is great. 2, you don't end up getting what you asked for. But even in the worst out of the 2 scenarios, you not getting what you asked for, are you losing out on anything? Are we losing out on anything? We stand in the exact same place before we made that ask. So why is it that our brain shifts to the fear of rejection or the fear of failure instead of the possibility of something to gain? Why not ask anyway and see if option 1 is an option at all? But being very logical and structured, I was determined that there had to be a strategy or a way to reduce that risk of rejection. That's what we all want, right? So I started experimenting. Note how I said reduce the risk of rejection, not remove it entirely. I started asking different people for different things aligned with my goals and saw what worked and what didn't. And what worked was a 5-step framework. Are you ready for this? Step 1, define what you want. Sounds simple, but this is the most important step in the process, because unless you know what you want, there's no way you can communicate it to someone else and get it. Unless you were born lucky. I know I wasn't, or at least I think so. So define what you want and be as specific as you can about this goal in mind. Paint a picture for the other person so that they're able to see your goals with you. Why do I say this? Well, specificity matters. Imagine if someone came to you and said, hey, I'm looking for a job. You'd be like, okay. You'd be confused on how to help, empathetic, but confused. But instead, if the same person came to you and said, hey, I love the work that you're doing in your current job, and I'm looking to transition from finance to something like this, is there anyone I can speak to? Suddenly, now you can think of 3 colleagues who used to work in finance, but now work with you. Didn't take you long at all, and you're happy to connect them. You see, that's why it matters on defining what you want. So it's not easy, but it's important. Go write it in your journal, talk about it extensively, research, make a vision board, whatever it is you need to do to get very, very specific about your goals. Do that before you try and make the ask. Great. Now you know what you want, but why this? Why now? This brings us to step 2. You see, you need to define your why for people to be able to relate to you. Why this? Why now? What does this goal bring to you or to others? Why do you want it so badly? The more you're able to talk about your why, the more people are invested in your success and help you achieve it faster. You see, people connect with people, but people connect with stories and motivations and intentions. So discuss the why, not the what or the how. You'll see it everywhere. Every person who's had any success led with their why and not their what or their how. The reason you're here today is because you share and believe in the mission of TED Talks, ideas worth spreading. You think there's an idea worth spreading. The reason people love Tesla is because it's not about the car. It was never about the car. It was about the movement of moving towards a better world. People want to be a part of that movement. People want to be a part of that change. People want to be a part of that story. I didn't make this up, but I did try it. I have a first-hand experience, small but rather relevant to this one. You see, when I was in the initial stages of my career startup, I thought it was a great way for students to meet professionals in the industry to see what a day in the life of the job looks like. So we tried to create a mentorship program. And for that, we needed mentors, obviously. So I started cold messaging hundreds of professionals every single day, asking them to be mentors with the program. I got 5 people to sign up that way. And I wasn't happy, and my team wasn't happy. Something had to change. So I started asking myself, why did I even start it in the first place? Why this startup? Why the mentorship program? And something clicked. You see, in the past, I had struggled in defining my career, and I had felt lost in the career process, the exploration phase. And my personal why was that I didn't want other students to feel lost in the process. So the next time I reached out to professionals, I talked way less about the program details and way more about why I believe mentorship is important, why I want to do the program, and what value I hope that it brings the students. And people loved it. I had mentors from the Googles, the Amazons, and the Deloittes of the world reaching out to me because they connected and related with that mission. They saw their struggle in my struggle, And they didn't want other students to feel lost either. That's why it's really important to define your why, but more than that, also sharing your why. So now you know what you want, and you know why you want it. How do we get it? Well, it's simple. Ask for it. Step 3. Is it simple, though? It sounds easy, but it's the hardest part of the process, but you already knew that. So every time your mind starts steering into the fear of rejection and the fear of failure, I want you to consciously bring it back to the what have I got to lose mindset. And you'll see a difference. Now, it's hard to do anything big for the first time, so we start small. And a very successful entrepreneur came up with the coffee technique. And what that is a coffee challenge where every single time you order coffee, you ask for a 10% discount. Will you get the discount? Maybe. Unlikely, but maybe. But the point of the exercise is not for you to get that 10% discount. The point of the exercise is so you get comfortable with stepping out of your comfort zone and making those asks, and also getting really good at dealing with rejection when you're faced with it. So start with a coffee, and then as you practice more and more, you can increase the magnitude and the impact of your asks and see what works best for you. So now that you've made the ask and you've figured out the first 3 steps, you're thinking, great, I'm ready to go off. But even if you've gotten really good at making that ask, there is a chance you will be faced with rejection time and time again, which is where step 4 comes in. Ask multiple people, ask multiple times. Step 4 allows you to assess every single person who can help you in reaching and achieving that goal, and ask until they say no. And if they say no, you don't say okay, we say why. Coming back to the why. Getting feedback is really important in improvement over time. By asking why, instead of closing that door forever, you allow yourself an opportunity to come back to it with an improvement, turning that no into a yes over time. So ask multiple people and ask multiple times, and when they say no, you ask why. That's step 4. And finally, if you've done the first 4 steps, you'll come to realize that you're starting to see some quick wins. And in that moment, I want you to be open to receiving. It's harder than it sounds. You see, going back to our mental conditioning of success is hard work, if something is given to us that comes a little bit easier, we feel that we don't deserve it. And in those times, I want you to remember that making that ask is the hard work. Because if it wasn't hard, then everyone would be doing it. But they didn't, and we did, and we got it. So success is hard work. Making the ask was the hard work. So I want you to be open to receiving what is given to you, what is offered to you, and use that as an opportunity to magnify the impact that you're making on this world. That also puts you in a position so that when next time somebody else comes to you with their ask and you're in a position to help, you're open to receiving and you help them with their ask. Now, ideally, all of these step 5 or all of these steps will go in order. But we don't live in a perfect world. We don't live in an ideal world. So more often than not, it will not look like this. You'll see, and I saw, that you'll spend more time on one step than the others, and you'll go back and forth between the steps to really figure out as we evolve and as our goals change and as things around us change. So be accepting of that. The idea of the framework is not to stop the growth at which it comes, but just to be aware of it. And so, however messy it gets, be committed. Hopefully, in the past few minutes, I've encouraged you to be a little more vulnerable with yourself today, to make an ask today, big or small, and to go for what you really deserve. Thank you.